Hey, hey, hey. What's up, big
And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentleman of Crypto, episode 1291. Today is Thursday, February 6, 2024, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m.-ish. And today's top stories: MicroStrategy rebrands to Strategy and adopts Bitcoin logo. Bitcoin Reserve may end up a potent political weapon, says Arthur Hayes. CFTC acting chair says the agency is ending regulation by enforcement. FDIC releases 790 pages of crypto-related letters. And regulatory pivot, SEC moves its former top crypto cop, Ten Railroad, to IT office. I say environmental. I wasn't that far off. Senator Warren doesn't take the crypto bake in debanking hearing, and Telegram mandates Tongue Connect for all crypto wallets, sparking backlash. But first and foremost, let's go ahead and talk about them good old prices. I gotta get I'm gonna do a little sound effect for when we do the prices. I don't know. It's gotta be like a old-fashioned song, like a good time song, like we talking about prices today. I don't know. I'm not that good off the top. Okay. I'm not creatively inclined when it comes to music or any type of sound thing like that. I just like to listen to it. So you all help me. I'll come up with something in GarageBand. We're gonna have a little ditty for these prices, though. We're gonna talk about these prices ditty. All right. With that being said, Bitcoin, as you can see, is coming in super hot at 97,700, or excuse me, 876. Is bouncing around down 0.12%. Ethereum at $2,751, down 0.67%, still trying to hold on as that Trump cosign pushed through this past week. XRP, $2.37 up, or excuse me, down 5.29%. BNB at $580, up 1.15%. Actually, Solana, number 5, which displaced BNB, is at $195, down 4.08%. Number 9, Cardano, 73 cent, down 4.3, and Tron number 10 at 22 cent, up 1.9. Fear and Greed Index is still at 35. Bitcoin dominance 60.77. It is looking amazing as well when it comes to that Bitcoin dominance. And Ethereum dominance at a 10.3. Again, I just want to reiterate, I think Ethereum dominance is going to continue to dwindle these next few months. And I don't see another competitor that's going to pick up that dominance. So I think we can expect to see Bitcoin dominance continue to increase over these next few months as well. Cannot wait to see it. But those are your prices on the day. Let me give some quick shout outs. What's going on? Carino, T, Memories and Mike, Zyro, Humney, Wisdom Bars, Magnolia Pelican, Vanessa W, Super Mario, Sam Morgan. Good morning. Said late on the Bible study. We got the real news here tabbed. I feel you already know it. All right, it's a few stories to cover today. I want to stay in that 30-minute window, so let's go ahead and get started. First story, MicroStrategy is in the news. They rebrand to Strategy and adopt Bitcoin logo with the letter B. So I want to read the story. I haven't read the story yet, but when I saw the headline, I have my thoughts. So I'm not going to give you the quick rant. I'm going to read the story first, just so I won't step over my toes, just in case. The company's core business operations remain unchanged following the cosmetic rebrand to reflect the firm's pro-Bitcoin ethos. Sounds good. MicroStrategy, a business intelligence firm and Bitcoin treasury company, now has rebranded the strategy and adopted a Bitcoin-themed visual marketing scheme. According to a February 5th announcement, the newly rebranded company will continue focusing on providing business intelligence software and pursuing its Bitcoin corporate treasury strategy. The company has an earnings call scheduled for the February 5th, where more details about the rebrand will be provided to investors. So I'm assuming that did happen yesterday. Michael Saylor, of course, the co-founder of MicroStrategy, a Bitcoin evangelist, as they're saying. I would just say an investor. I want to go as far as saying evangelist. An evangelist was Roger Ver back in the day. That would be if he were to start companies up, start businesses, bring more people into it. I'm not really seeing all of that. I'm just seeing like more derivatives, with more ways we can make more money off of Bitcoin. So I would say they're Bitcoin investors, not evangelists. They're not looking to use the technology or to really onboard as far as making sure, and everyone has wallets and these things are happening. Like, that's more of an evangelist, but I will definitely say an investor. Other companies follow MicroStrategy's lead, they're saying, so they're mentioning other companies here. I'm just seeing if there's anything that's going to talk. Okay, so that's basically the story. So they're not mentioning what I think is really going on here, and let me talk about what I think's really going on here. All right, here's the deal. We just saw the headline a few weeks ago, maybe even 2 weeks ago, about MicroStrategy may possibly have like a tax bill of however much money, because they essentially bought, sold, or swapped $19 billion of Bitcoin. So they're essentially saying, hey, these guys got a tax bill coming up that they haven't accounted for. That's the word on the street. what's the best way to not necessarily beat, but at least slow down taxes? And I'm not saying this is what they're doing. I'm just saying it's the way it looks on the surface. Why not do a name change? Why not do a rebrand? Is this name change going to be a doing business as, or is this an actual corporate change happening on the back end? Because if it is, that has to do with taxation. Are you changing what your business actually is under the what your business is, and when it comes to your business license? If it does, that changes the taxation. So I don't think he's just waking up saying, "Hey, I love Bitcoin so much. I want to make these changes." Possible. I would say possible. This is equivalent of him getting his Terra Luna tattoo, right? I'm looking at you, Novagrass. Like this could be what's the guy's name again? I just had a brain freeze right now. Let me scroll down. Michael Saylor. This could be Michael Saylor's Terra Luna tattoo. And instead of getting it tattooed, he's just saying, "Hey, I mess with Bitcoin so much. I love it so much. We're going to rebrand our name, the strategy. We're going to have a Bitcoin B. Like we're going all in. This is my tattoo." I could understand that. Not mad at it. It makes sense. But again, just to look at all sides of it, to me, if there's any actual legal changes being made on the back end, if there's no legal changes, this doesn't matter. But if there's any legal changes being made on the back end, this is a tax play. This is getting in front of what's coming. This is a tax play. That's all it is. And shout out to them though for renaming the strategy, going with the Bitcoin treasury. I get what they're doing. This is a treasury, right? The United States and states are about to have a treasury. These are treasuries. What are we talking about taxes for? These are treasuries. I get where you're doing, and that's why the name is going to be strategies. This is nothing micro about. This is macro strategy. We should rename you. Bravo to Michael Saylor. I am not mad at the move from a business person. I'm just saying what it looks like. You all let me know. Is this a tax play or is this really like him just rebranding and renaming it? Who knows? All right. What else do we have? Speaking of Bitcoin reserves, I thought this was a pretty important story to cover. I saw the headline. I already knew where he was going. I agree. I've kind of went this direction with it as well. But I think this is also a no-brainer for those who know. But maybe it's time for everybody to kind of understand what's going to happen next. Bitcoin reserve may end up a potent political weapon, says Arthur Hayes. Creating a national stockpile of Bitcoin or crypto would turn any crypto held by the government into a political weapon, Maelstrom's Arthur Hayes says. And I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that. It will be used as a political weapon, depending on the states who have it, the states who don't have it. If you have a big enough state with a big enough Bitcoin reserve, you can kind of throw your weight around to the federal government. Like this will definitely be a political weapon for sure. But going more into the story, Bitcoin strategic reserve in the US could be a net negative for the industry as it could be used as a political weapon and even reverse if Democrats win the election in 2028 and decide to sell the stockpile, according to an industry executive. Now, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I don't want to lie. So I'm not sure if I said sell or get rid of or whatever, but I did say, like, hey, I've been saying like these next 4 years you go crazy and then you get out the market because if Trump and his administration pisses off enough people and the Republicans don't win again, and you get the polar opposite of Trump, is what we normally see. We saw that with George Bush Jr. to Obama, from Obama to Trump to begin with, from Trump to Biden, from Biden back to Trump because it got so crazy. So it's one of those things where is it going to flip flop a 180 again? And if it does, and they decide, hey, we're going to sell this treasury, or no states are allowed to have treasury, like the entire market to be upended within a day or 2 days of work, as we're seeing right now happen in the opposite direction. So, broadly speaking, many misguided crypto folks wish for the US government to print dollars and purchase Bitcoin as part of a national stockpile. I believe these folks are asking for the wrong thing, says Maelstrom Fund Chief Investment Officer Arthur Hayes in February 6th blog. He argued that the potential Bitcoin stockpile would simply be another financial asset that could be both bought and sold. There would be a million Bitcoin just sitting there ready to be sold. It just takes a signature on a piece of paper, said Hayes. Again, I fully agree with everything he's saying. Uh, but what I would add though is, and here's where not only in this sector, in every sector on the globe, everyone gets into their head that this has to last for forever. I think that is one of the biggest mistakes all humans make, is that this has to last forever. And when it doesn't last forever, people start doing, that's when people start scamming and doing dirty stuff because it's not lasting for forever, right? Or even worse, in the effort to make it last forever, you start doing things like, I don't know, the prison industrial complex, right? Where it's like, we're going to figure out a way to send more people to prison because we want this business to last forever. So it makes us more money. We don't want to treat people and make sure they don't come back, right? So to me, this is the way we look at Bitcoin. That's why I've kind of like, uh, strategically started to look at different timelines for different things, right? if you want to actually make capital in this space, I would say you should be looking at these next 4 years and calling it quits after that, because what comes next after that could be the polar opposite, and it could come with a lot of BS that just isn't worth it anymore, right? What if they come back and say, hey, we're taxing crypto 50, 60% across the board? It's like, well, it's not worth being in the market anymore. So I think this year especially would be a great year, and then these next few years as well. But I'm with them. I do think these could be used as political weapons. I do think the next administration that comes in could just do a total 180. And if you do have a stockpile of Bitcoin, they could just sell it all at one time and cause the market to dip. Like, I truly believe all these things could possibly happen. Now, the things I would put in perspective is, in another 4 years, how stronger will crypto companies be in comparison to the banks, right? Because in another 4 years, Democratic or Republican, even if somebody comes in, they absolutely hate the Trump administration, everything they done, if they come in and there's enough crypto money to where companies are saying, no, 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 we're about to back both conservatives and liberals, Dems and Republicans, like we're backing the entire market the same way FTX did, then it might not matter. We might see the next administration come in and there is no longer this entire banking constituent infrastructure of just 10 people who control the entire United States, right? Maybe we'll open up to 300 people who control crypto companies, and then they can control the United States. That's my point. So while I think it can change, I think there'll be a lot of dynamics at work here. So it's nothing we should be readily scared about. It's almost saying, hey, quantum computing is coming in 4 years. And it's like, well, we're assuming that quantum computing will be used for bad. But what if by the time it comes, it's being used for good? So that's all I'm saying. That's what I hope to see, is that in another 4 years, regardless of which side of the aisle takes over, they're all being endorsed and pumped up by crypto constituents. If that's the case, and I think it will still be smooth selling, you might get a little bit more regulations, a little bit more taxation. But if the crypto community can pump both sides up, I think it'll be smooth selling. Well, we'll run into problems that if in the next 4 years we don't see these companies start to really blow up, like just go crazy, and they don't have the capital in 4 years to back both sides, then we can see the banking infrastructure take back over aggressively, because not only will they have capital, but they will have almost a proof of concept to show the next administration, like, hey, see, we try to let crypto go crazy. They don't make as much money of it as us. It's just not worth it. Like, they'll bottom line this thing if it isn't there in the next 4 years. So I think we still got 4 years to go. We'll see what happens. I mean, already we're moving at a very aggressive pace, and that's about to segue into these next stories, which is the topic of the day. And that is official. The regulators have capitulated, people. The regulators have capitulated. Listen, it's over. It is over. We have officially won one of the largest battles in the short term. The war is already won. There's still plenty of battles left, but the war has been won in the short term. All right. So looking at these regulators, let's go ahead and knock them down. I'm knocking them down straight in line, one at a time. First, we're going to go to CFTC. All right. CFTC acting chair. So, oh, and really quick, so I did skim through some of these articles because I was just so excited about these articles today. And one theme I noticed across all of them is that they're really, all these agencies are trying to deny, like, wrongdoing, essentially. Like, they're trying to deny wrongdoing. They're trying to deny saying crypto. Like, it is hilarious trying to see them do the mental gymnastics. But hey, this is United States. We should be used to the mental gymnastics a lot of people play to make things sound right. But CFTC acting chair says the agency is ending regulation by enforcement. The commission will divide its enforcement responsibilities into two task forces focused mainly on complex fraud and retail fraud. There we go. Solve some real crimes and do some real work. I'm giving that a real hand clap. All this BS of going after people with money, but not the actual people breaking the law, looks like it's about to slow down, folks. Caroline Pham, the acting chair of the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, announced that the agency will be winding down its practice of regulation by enforcement, likely impacting its approach to crypto firms during the Trump administration. I told y'all it's the Wild Wild West. I told you it's the Wild Wild West. Now get ready. In the February 4th notice, Pham said the CFTC is restructuring the priorities for its division of enforcement to focus on fraud, suggesting that the move. Oh man, this is the one. This is. Oh, I'm glad I read this one, because this is she is suggesting that the move will, quote, will stop regulation by enforcement against good citizens, unquote. So once again, I want to be clear here, people. Throughout these last few years, there has been no conspiracy theory. I haven't been making things up. It hasn't been BS. They have been prosecuting good American citizens, as I said. And I want to go back to something else I said those years ago. This is treason. Like at minimum, code tar and feather. At minimum, code tar and feather. I don't want to hurt them or I don't want to burn the skin. But this is treason. This is treason. This is treason. This is treason. This is what treason looks like. You cannot use your own government employees to go after private citizens who aren't doing anything wrong because they're not uh, improving the likes of other private citizens who, by the way, really don't even live in America. They got businesses and houses and everything else in every other country, and that's how they're making their money. But they're pressing our regulators to go after other citizens who just made a quick buck. I mean, it was absolutely insane to see this thing play out these last few years. I couldn't believe it was truly happening. I'm happy to even still be in this market because a lot of people couldn't make it this far in this market. They did capitulate and fold because they had no choice. But to come out and to say, "Hey, this has been happening," to me, this shouldn't be an off the cuff quote or remark. This should be, "Thank you. Now let's prosecute. Let's get legislation. Let's get litigation involved. Someone needs to be sued. Someone should be in jail. You all are admitting it as an agency yourself. You did this. This is madness. They're admitting it. There's not even, well, stop regulation by enforcement against good citizens. So you've been regulating by enforcement against good citizens. Why? Why would you do this? The commission will divide its responsibilities into two task forces, mainly on retail fraud and violations of the Commodity Exchange Act and complex fraud and manipulation. The task force realignment will enhance our vigorous and energetic enforcement program by empowering our blah blah. This sounds like something I wrote. This is, if you took a PR class, like 4 or 5 of these words are on this sheet they gives us to know how to, like, I wrote this. I know who wrote this. This is, I'm not about to read this. This is their, basically their statement saying, yeah, this is, yeah, this is the new direction and integrity of our markets. Like, you get it. This is their PR statement. Yeah, I mean, this is basically it. They're going more into detail about why this shifted and how. We already know those details. It's because President Trump came in and said, Bitcoin will be our future. But even bigger than that, and this is what I've been telling you all, what happened the first Trump administration, with some people wanted to push back on. And I was like, you clearly did not have a small business, or you weren't making no motion, because the first Trump administration for small business, I'm not here to talk about, I guess some of y'all said less than 300K or lower middle class. I don't know about all these numbers and policies. I can tell you my personal experience. Small businesses were getting away with whatever they want to get away with, as long as you weren't committing real crimes. Like, yeah, as long as you weren't legitimately, like, money laundering cocaine for money or for Bitcoin, or as long as you weren't kidnapping and killing. Like, it was the wild west, which is why I've been saying these last few weeks, I expect nothing more than the wild west, especially from a guy who just, I don't even know if he beat his felony case. Didn't he just catch some charges, in and out mug shots, taxes? Like, they're coming at him from tax evasion. He just launched a meme coin. They're coming after him for launching a meme coin, for securities fraud, possibly. All these things at the same time. All these people who are coming at them are the same ones who will come after any one of us as well. Let's be clear about that. It's not just, we're just going to go after President Trump, but we're not going to tax and go after the rest of the crypto market. Like, no. They go after everyone. So my point was then, as it is now, with as much stuff as he has going on, good, better, ugly, I don't care how I feel about or how you feel about it. I'm looking at this from our portfolios, our market portfolios, how to make more Bitcoin and more crypto. While he's going through all this stuff, and he's simultaneously trying to fire maybe the most smartest, or at least some of the most experienced people in these positions to prosecute people in these spaces, it is opening it up for everybody else in this same lane. So it's not about whether you like them or hate them or any of this political stuff. I'm getting away from politics. I'm staying as far as what he's doing for the actions, which is going after the regulators. And their response is, hey, we're laying off of crypto. And my response to you all from an analysis point of view is, this is the moment to go crazy. This is the time. You wanted to launch that ICO, launch that motherfucker now. All right. You wanted a meme coin, you wanted to try to trade this or swap that, but you felt uneasy about this. Do it. Now is the time to do it. Whatever you can to get as much crypto and capital as you can these next 4 years, do it. Stop looking for, well, is this right? Or is this gray lines? Is this regulatory? Like, don't look for that right now. I think this is the moment of the Wild Wild West. We're opening wide open. That makes no sense. We're opening it up and we're about to go crazy though. All right. Next article, FDIC capitulates as well. They released 790 pages of crypto-related letters in a regulatory pivot. And once again, this is how I know the PR folks are going hard. This they're using the pivot still. That's what I'm going to say. This here's a short version. We established a long time ago. I think it was back in like let's say 2013 and 2014. If you remember, the United States military did a pivot to the Pacific. If you remember that, where we were saying, "Hey, we're getting ready for China. We're getting all our assets from the East Coast, or as many as we can afford to get from the East Coast, and start moving them toward the Pacific and doing things out west." We ended up changing that tagline, essentially, if you would call it that, from pivot, because pivot made it sound like we were intentionally redirecting forces and adding new things, and not, essentially you weren't ready and you're doing different things. We changed that to rebalance. End up, if you look at all the documentation post 2014, 2015, everything was called the rebalance to the Pacific, because we weren't pivoting, we weren't changing plans, we weren't doing anything different. We were just rebalancing our forces. All right. Like that was the proper way they made it seem. So it doesn't sound like we're just like about to crash out on China type of deal. So already being this PR thing and knowing the old words and old jargon, them saying it's a regulatory pivot, like this person's 28 who wrote this. I know how this goes. All right. I know exactly where they're at in their career. I love it. But anyway, this regulatory pivot that they're doing. Why are you pivoting the entire all the regulators? See, you get my point? That's why rebalancing sounds better. Why are you doing a pivot of the regulatory environment? What were you doing wrong for us to pivot the entire regulatory market with 790 pages? That to me shows guilt. It shows that we should have some litigation following this. You were wrong. You were wrong. The FDIC also looks forward to engaging with the president's working group on digital asset markets. Acting chairman Travis Hill wrote. Okay, I'm glad it said acting chairman, because it was the old one. Don't talk to me about engaging and being friends. No, 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 no. But it's the acting chairman. So I'm happy with that. Again, this is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC, which of course insures up to 250K of your money in banks. But if you surpass that number, there's nothing you can do but get Bitcoin. The regulatory body overseeing banks in the US has released 790 pages of additional correspondence related to firms offering crypto services to clients. According to the FDIC, the documents show requests from banks and other institutions to offer crypto services to clients were almost always met with resistance, delays, constant requests for more information, and pause letters. And here's the thing, once again, we'll get more into this. I'm running out of time, so I got to get through these stories. We'll get into it, but all these letters, all these different agencies, on all these people are trying to make it seem like we know we kind of did wrong, but we're not going to exactly say what we did. And you'll see this if you want to go a deep dive into all these articles. There is a reoccurring thing. I skimmed through all of them today. I was so happy. There's a reoccurring theme of them saying like, yeah, we did wrong, but we're not going to say exactly what wrong we did. We can just do things better. So we're pivoting. Like that's the theme of everything, which is, again, I've been in PR. This is how we write stuff up. The issue with that is like, no, real wrong has been done. I remember legitimately, like this literally happened. 2016, I get off of deployment. I had already been buying Bitcoin. I'm literally like 3 or 4 days off deployment, and my Bank of America isn't working. Wherever at the time, that's like my primary bank account. What's going on? I go there. They have me wait. Next thing you know, I'm in the office with like 2 or 3 bankers. I swear it was like I was at a principal's meeting in school, and they're asking about why am I spending my money on Bitcoin and what's going on, this, that, and the other. I'm like, oh, y'all know my personality now. I'm like, first of all, I just got off deployment. So as a private company, why are you asking me about any capital I have? Like, I just got deployment in the what? You know how much money I got? Yeah, I do have money, legal money from the government. So what are we talking about here? Like, it turned so hostile in that meeting. That was in 2016. Since then, what else has happened? I came QuickBooks. QuickBooks essentially debanked me, or I wasn't allowed to use their deplatformed me after they were told by Chase that, hey, no crypto clients, not talking about the YouTube, Google, and everything else is shadow banned. So it's one of those things was like the damage is beyond done for small businesses and large businesses alike. You look at library credits who had to actually shut down. But now you come out, I don't want 790. I don't need a book to tell me what you did wrong. Give me 790 pages of solutions, because that is what you would do if it were for your boss. You wouldn't come to your boss in any government capacity or agency capacity and say, here goes 790 pages of problems and things we did wrong, boss. No, Come back with like 3 pages of what you did wrong and 787 pages of what we're going to do right next time and how to fix this thing. And this is what I mean. This is why I know I'm not going crazy. This is going to go longer than 30 minutes. It is what it is. Listen, this is why I'm not going crazy. You remember when I kept saying these companies should fight back? And one of the ways you fight back, or at least one of the ways I will fight back, is that I will have documentation and paperwork on paperwork on paperwork. Like the government would get tired of me from the amount of paperwork they would have to read through to catch up with the case. This is what they're doing to us right now. Oh, y'all want to countersue or figure out what went wrong or what banks and what regulators and everybody else who did the crypto community wrong? Sure, we'll give you everything you need to figure it out. Here's the first document, 800 pages. Like they're like, this is what they do. This is so wrong. And again, that's why I'm not picking sides or playing sides or anything. I'm just saying the chickens have come home to roost in America when it comes to the government and everything that's going on. And it makes my teeth white every day. I don't care how many people should be affected by it because everything else keeps sliding under the bridge. So you know what? Yep, keep being affected. I'm happy it's happening. And I hope you all are miserable until you get up every day and start making real moves and making real changes. If that doesn't happen, then fuck it. Let's be miserable together. Because if they're going to come after the crypto community, then yeah, when Trump gets in office, not even Trump, when XYZ president gets into office and he's saying, I'm putting the gun sights back on y'all, I'm redirecting this energy to you all. I don't care who it is. Right now, I'm supporting it. All right. So far, we got the FDIC, 800 pages saying, yeah, we know we was wrong. CFTC saying, yeah, we know we were wrong. Let me make sure I'm not missing nothing out of this. Let's see. Looking forward, what I tell you, we are actively reevaluating our supervisory approach to crypto related activities. Yeah, sure you are. Oh, and this is why, of course, the FDIC was exposed in the Freedom of Information Act request. For those who don't know what that is, a FOIA request is something the government essentially enforces that say, hey, if I want some information that's supposed to be public from a public company, from a public whatever, then you all need to supply it in a timely fashion. So usually if people don't know to ask about this, you can hide stuff for forever. But once this came out and people realized we can ask about it, which it looks like Coinbase did here in October 2024 when it found out about Operation Choke Point, that's how this all came out. So I just want to remind everybody, we're not finding out this information about the FDIC and the SEC and the CFTC all working together to debank or not bank crypto companies. We're not finding out because they said, hey, it's time to do the right thing. Bitcoin's at $100,000 to do the right thing. No, we are finding out because finally, after 6 or 7 years, crypto companies fought back, right? After getting their ass beat for 7 years, they finally swung back. And when the first one landed and the guy stumbled, they were like, oh, wait, I can fight. What are these? This hurts people. I'm do it again and then do it again and do it. And, oh, right to the kisser. Right. I get it. They swung for the first time. They landed a punch. I can fight. You should have been fighting. But my point is, none of this information is coming out because there are people in the government doing the right thing. This information came out because crypto companies on their last leg about to go out of business finally started grasping at just thin air, started throwing darts at the wall, and some finally hit. FOIA request, fine. Oh my God, this is it. This is what we've been saying has been happening for years. We couldn't say it in words. People were on the news. You remember when the Winklevoss twins were on the news and the reporter was like, well, do you have any proof that this is happening? And they're like, no, of course I don't have proof. Like this is the government working with banks with billions of dollars. It is very difficult to get proof. If you remember the one document that we did get proof of had about 90% of it redacted. So yeah, it's like yeah. If you're going to ask me the proof question, yeah, I guess you win this one. Like, of course we don't have it, but now that the proof finally came out, and it's just like in his apology tour, nobody's in trouble, no treason. It's just like, oh, our bad guys. I guess you all were right. There was a concerted effort in the background going on with the SEC, FDIC, and CFTC, in addition to banks, to ensure that crypto companies couldn't bank, operate, or do anything in the American space that had to do with this market. And now they are all capitulating. And I love to see. One more time.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
Just gotta laugh at them. And you just gotta remind them this one other thing that you know I love to say.
We're not gonna take it.
We are not going to take it. I've been saying this for years, folks. We're not going to take it. And it looks like, oh man, I got to talk about this one last time. I know I talked about this the other day, but I'm only reiterating this because I was correct. SEC moves its former top crypto cop 10 railroad to IT office is being reported. The Securities and Exchange Commission has reassigned its top litigator to the agency's computer management office. The Wall Street Journal reports. Oh, man. Oh, man. All right. I'm just going to reiterate this. Somebody clip this and send it to the guy or the gal. I don't know. Look, this is gang business. This is essentially the government's version of a DP. For those who don't know what that is, a DP in gang terms is discipline. They all beat you up for a few seconds and let you go home after. They just got to show you what you did was wrong. This is all it is. It's a lateral or demotion move, whatever, lateral transfer, demotion. I said environmental deaths. The only reason I know this for a fact is because in the military, that's where PR goes. And it's not even always a punishment. Sometimes you're actually really good at your job and they like you. It's just one of those things where it's like, look, you're really good and we really like you, but there's nobody else we can trust to do environmental policy. And that's very important to the government and to the United States person's constituents because they love the environment, some people. So it's like, we know this sucks for you. And it's technically is like a lateral transfer. It's not a promotion, but it's like, we got to have somebody we can trust do it. So sometimes it's a good thing. There's like, we trust you, we want you, like, we know you're capable of this, like, go handle it. But come on, we know they don't always do that to the darlings. They don't do that to the darlings. They'll do it to a smart person, but not to a darling. So that's what I'm saying here. Is one of those things. Look, you pissed off the wrong people for a lot of years, and you deserve this too. So don't act like you don't deserve this. You're in charge of the SEC going after American companies trying to start crypto projects from scratch. Like, you're lucky all you're getting is a lateral transfer. If I were in office right now, I would literally be trying all these regulators for treason. I would seriously, I would be like a class action, but for treason. I would try probably at least 50 different regulators right now for treason. You did this against the American people, against working class people. Treason. I'm going for treason. So he should be lucky. All he's doing is getting this lateral transfer, maybe a small demotion. But like I said the other day, it happens in the military too. Shut up. Yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, for the next 2 to 3, 4 years, and you'll find yourself right back to where you need to be. Now, granted, you probably won't be on the same target you were, right? Like, I don't know the highest rank you can get in the SEC, but wherever the highest rank is, you'll never see that high rank. You'll never see that. Maybe if you get somebody in here in the next election that really wants to spite Trump, maybe they'll come back and bring you back. But by and large, this is how it goes, folks. That's it. And the reason why is because it doesn't even have anything to do with them. It has to do with the politics of the SEC, the same as you get the politics in the Navy, politics in the Army, politics anywhere else. Essentially, what's going to happen is another 2 to 4 years. Even if you get another administration, like I said, it's got to be somebody who really knows him personally and likes him. Because if that doesn't happen, he's just going to turn into one of those people who's like a leper. It's like, I know it was a bad shake and it sucks, but you can never be in charge of everybody now. Like, you got lateral transfer to what is this? Computer management. Like, you can never be in charge of everyone. So now it's like you can never reach the top. And so where do you go? Like, at best, you can kind of recoup your power and get kind of back up there, but then you'll still be the guy that everybody remembers. Like, you remember him 1 4 years. So I don't know. If I were him, man, I'll take the buyout. I'm pretty sure he's being offered one. You might want to take that buyout. I don't know. Take the buyout. Or, like I said, worst case scenario, 2 to 4 years, computer management, you'll be back home and or IT or whatever. Damn, they put him in the IT office. Oh, hey, he asked could he keep his stapler. Who remembers where that's from? My man said, what about the stapler? Can I keep the stapler? They took no. That's our stapler for the upstairs. You go down to the basement. We got a nice little office carved out next to the servers for you. I'm sorry. I just had to do this little walk of joy, folks. We literally have 3 agencies capitulating in 1 week. This is what I was gonna say earlier. I forgot. If it were up to me too by now, and I hate to say this, but it's one of those things. We should just end the Bitcoin project now. Let's call it quits today, folks. This is a win. $97,000, right? 0 to 97,000. Or let's say you bought it at the top of the last time, 21 to 97. Let's say you bought the last top, 50K or 71 to 97. It's at 97,000. We have every agency regulator out there capitulating. The president has a meme coin. Like, I want to we're done. I want today to be the last day of Bitcoin and crypto for forever, so that we left with 3 rings. We left with 3 rings. All right. It wasn't another game. You can't compare. Well, Michael Jordan, no, he didn't come back. He's done. All right. It is what it is. I want crypto and Bitcoin to stop today, because today, just today, as it stands today, there is nothing bad you can say about these markets. Right now, there's scammers in these markets for sure. but the actual the technology, the Bitcoin blockchain or this market or that, folks, we have won. This is what's when it smells like. I wish I would have had a cigar today. Goodness gracious, we had 3 agencies capitulate in 1 week. Hey, woo wee. What they calling them right now? I don't know. I ain't calling. I'm going as far as dead. I seen some people saying daddy, but Uncle Trump is smacking their ass right now. Whether you love him or hate him for crypto, he over there smacking. All right, let's get back to his arch nemesis, though. Senator Warren doesn't take the crypto bait in debanking hearing. That's right. Now, under a Republican-controlled U.S. Congress, you know she don't like that. The Senate Banking Committee focuses efforts on addressing claims the government bullied banks into halting services to crypto. Y'all getting it from every direction. I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, listen, CFTC, SEC, FDIC. You know what? Banking committee. No, we want to hear about this today. Oh man, they trying to duck and dodge it all. That's right. We are having a full length. I'm tuning in to C-SPAN later. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren seemed to specifically avoid mentioning crypto in a hearing addressing claims U.S. government entities pressured financial institutions into pausing or stopping services for digital firms. The fact that you can't even say the word, it says it all to me. Like, are we not? We're not beyond playing the game where you can't even say the word. Like, we're still playing that game. That says it all. She shouldn't be in her position. If we're at a point now where an asset is $100,000 and you won't mention the word, wow, that's incredible. During a Senate Banking Committee on debanking on February 5th, Senator Warren, serving as the ranking member, not for long, used her opening remarks to highlight thousands of complaints alleging debanking due to past incarceration, Muslim American identity, or involvement in the cannabis industry. And based off of everything I know, off of anecdotal and factual evidence, is all correct. People who've been locked up are like they find it hard to get bank accounts. I know people locked up that found it hard to get a bank account. Muslim Americans know some of them. They're like, yeah, man, because my name is Muhammad Farid, whatever. They looking at me crazy when I walk up in the bank. They doing all the extras. I gotta fucking bring them the daddy son, daddy daughter day work. I gotta bring the bank into work with me to show them I got legal money, right? And then cannabis industry, I am in California. I have dealt with so many different dispensaries trying to get them on Bitcoin. Some actually have, but their biggest pushback throughout the years with Bitcoin is like, man, they're not even banking us regularly. Like, we got to do everything cash. So they're like, we want to do Bitcoin. It makes sense, but they're like, we're scared that we do Bitcoin, they're going to unfairly come after us again. So that has been the cannabis industry's biggest thing about doing Bitcoin. Is like, man, they're already not banking us. They don't like us, and they're looking for any reason to violate us. So they're just like, we don't want to add more problems to it. She questioned Anchorage Digital co-founder and CEO Nathan McCauley about his experiences and the Brookings Institution's Aaron Klein regarding how the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, could stop unfair debanking. I don't think for a second that you should be locked out of our banking system, said Warren. If banks adopt policies that routinely debank people based on their beliefs or other legitimate reasons, that's wrong and needs to be stopped. Of course, it sounds good to say right now, but do you really think Elizabeth Warren, the senator in charge of the what is this called, the financial what is this they're meeting, the ranking member of the Senate bank, it's called a banking committee. I mean, just think about it. Can you remember it was called the Senate crypto committee? It's called the Senate banking committee. It shows you who they're there for. But if you for 1 minute believe that the highest ranking member, the senator of the banking committee, did not know that the banks in cohort with the FDIC, SEC, and CFTC were intentionally debanking or not banking crypto companies, you have lost your mind. A. B. Even if we were to believe that, let's say, all right, well, she's telling the truth, even though she's lying in front of us all, but whatever. Let's say she's telling the truth, then you still should be fired. How are you essentially the top cop of the banking committee and you don't know what the banks are doing? You're either incompetent or you're in on it. Pick which one. She's saying I'm incompetent. Oh, I didn't know this was going on. This shouldn't be going on. Then fire her. Can we please fire her now? At least from the Senate Banking Committee. She is saying I'm in the highest ranking member of the banking committee, and I did not know what they're doing. Fire her then. It's time to go. It's pretty simple. I don't understand the problem. All right, last but not least, before I get to these comments, I've been seeing the comments go crazy, but I knew I was gonna go over already. Telegram mandates Tongue Connect for all crypto wallets, sparking backlash. So I didn't read this article yet. sound like Telegram and Tom was doing some centralized stuff. So I wanted to take a quick peek at it. So let's take a quick peek at it. Did they just kill themselves? I don't know. But Telegram now requires third-party crypto wallets to use Tongue Connect, restricting many apps to use the Tongue blockchain and prompting concerns about decentralization and exclusivity. All right. Now, if I'm this is the only part I read, and if I'm reading it right, they're saying that hey, instead of your crypto wallets being able to use Ton on its own, you need to link to their API to use it, is what I'm kind of getting from it. And if that's true, that is terrible because, for one, that's like how most hacks happen. What happens if your API is weak and then I linked my entire wallet to it? Like, that's crazy as hell versus just syncing it to the blockchain. And then the second thing is like, I don't know, like the first is enough. The APIs are weak. What happens if it gets hacked? What happens if you all start constricting wallets through some? I don't know. It's just like why? That was kind of weird to me when I saw that headline. Crypto wallets on Telegram may have to make some changes following the Messenger's exclusive partnership with the Open Network Foundation. Telegram's third-party crypto. Okay, so it's Telegram's. Okay, that was about to say that makes sense. Telegram's third-party crypto wallets must now use Tongue Connect. Oh, it is like that. It is what I'm saying. It's crazy. Hold on, because it's their third-party crypto wallets. Must now use Tongue Connect as their exclusive wallet connection protocol. A spokesperson for the Ton Foundation told Cointelegraph. The new requirement is part of Telegram's partnership with the Ton Foundation, which made Ton the only supported blockchain network for its messenger services. Okay, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to essentially bolster the value of their project by making it exclusive to a large app like Telegram. I get it, but yeah, you're showing that you're kind of centralized. So it looks like Telegram will suspend wallets that fail to integrate Tongue Connect. Wow. Yeah. All right. The wallet in Telegram is unaffected because it's Tongue based and only supports Tongue Connect for decentralized application interactions. A spokesperson for the Tongue Foundation said, adding, after the migration period ends, third-party wallets that haven't adopted Tongue Connect won't be supported. All right. So yeah, what is Tongue Connect? Tongue Connect is an open source toolkit that serves as a universal application authorization standard or a communication protocol between wallets and apps within the Ton ecosystem. The toolkit enables users to log into applications and services using Ton wallets instead of more commonly used logins and passwords. I get it. They're trying to build their own universe and keep people in. All I'm going to say is like sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't. Oftentimes it doesn't. And right now, with the messaging apps having the amount of competition that are starting to kind of come about, I would say there's only is going to work in the short term. I don't really see it working in the long term because why am I doing extra stuff just for your app? A and B, am I going to have to do extra stuff for everybody's app? Because if that's the case, I'm going to get rid of the apps I got to do extra stuff for. Like it's just pretty much that simple to me. But regardless, this is the direction they're going. I get it. If you remember, I think about 18 or 19 people invested upwards of, I don't want to have the wrong number. You all got to correct me. I don't know. Let's just say between 4 to 17 billion dollars. I know that's a wide spread, but let's say between 4 to 17 billion dollars. It was like 19 people, 18 people, if or was it 11 people for 18 billion? I don't know. It was less than 20 people, less than $20 billion. But in those ballparks, that is the amount of investors. If you remember, Ton had to initially begin with when the United States was trying to push back in their ICO thing that they did. Essentially, they did like a crowd fund, but there were only like, let's say, 15 people who crowdfunded and upwards of billions of dollars. So probably like sheiks of different countries who were involved in that, right? Not like the normal you and I, not even the normal accredited investors. You're talking like the highest of the highest networks slash organizations, because I do believe there were a couple of organizations involved in that crowdfunding, if you will, effort also. All right, last few comments. There we go. I'm late. That was Office Space. There we go. That's the first comment I saw when I looked over. You know what I'm talking about. Give me that stapler back, folks. I'm gonna look at a few comments. I'm gonna call it. They already went too long. I can't help it. I can't help it. Though. I like talking crypto. I'm in the market. I like it, folks. It's tough. It's tough, but thank you for sitting here and supporting and listening and being in the chat. We all make each other sharper when we do this. Kevin Cummings said, cannabis is cash in New Jersey dispensary, bro. I would know Elizabeth Warren really needs a good toke. She really do. She needs a good toke of some cannabis and a good massage from her husband or whoever else they call in there. Uh Senator Warren is playing 20v1 and everybody popped their red balloon. Hilarious, but that is correct. Yosef said, not everyone is scamming. There's a lot of great projects with real world use case. I agree. And that's why I said this was like on a serious note, what they did was treasonous. I have to laugh. I have to make jokes about it because on a being legitimate, nothing's going to come of it but more jobs. But that rotating door of all these regulators who did all this bad policy are now about to either go work for crypto companies or banks. And then in another 4 to 6 years, when all the Trump administration is gone, they're going to come right back into the government and be like, yeah, you remember I used to. Nobody's doing anything about it. I can't do anything but make jokes. Okay. Let's see what else we got going on. Listening to the arrays hum. Am I humming a lot? Is that what you mean? I'm confused. I might be doing that too much. I know I do a lot. Bro is sitting by the servers. Oh, you're talking about the arrays. Okay. Because you're talking about the array servers. They're talking about the SEC guy who got an IT office. They're saying all you hear is that hum down there now. Them servers. Yes, sir. You already know. All right. Other than that, that is the show for the day. You all are great. Smash that like and share. I will see you all for FBF tomorrow. Cheers. And the podcast be updating about 5